Hello, everyone. Firstly, thank you for viewing this in order to find out more about Abcam's Inclusion Working Group. This is just a brief explainer ahead of our meeting on January 13th, in which I'll explain why we're having this look at the governance of culture and inclusion at Abcam. I'll give you an overview of the groups that comprise the governance structure and clarify the role of the ERGs. I'll explain what role the working group will play, and I'll provide a summary of the terms of reference. And of course, we'll have a really brief look ahead at your homework ahead of the meeting. I'm just joking. There won't be any homework. I'm not trying to scare you off already. So, the why. It's quite simple, to be honest. We are trying to get beyond the traditional view of equity, diversity, and inclusion work as being specifically about HR policies and procedures. And we're trying to embed it across the organization. And the only way that we can really get that done is by involving all of you. But of course, that makes communicating and implementing plans in this area more complex. So we've created this governance structure to clarify the nature of the roles we play and to help us better understand lines of communication and accountability. The governance involves 5 key groups, 3 of which are new. So we all know the ERGs and the vital role that they've been playing in driving awareness of inclusion across the business. Their core role is to continue driving that awareness and act as a critical friend to the business on behalf of colleagues, to offer perspectives of people with lived experience, and of course, to hold Abcam to account. But what we need, alongside our dedicated ERGs, is a team of implementers and subject matter specialists or experts. So that's where you come in. You bring to this governance framework your knowledge of your particular roles or functions and how that works within the wider company. So you've got your implementers and you've got your awareness drivers. And we've also introduced another group that would be considered pretty much the local implementers, and those are diversity and inclusion action groups, or our DIAGs. And there'll be a DIAG for each department, and they'll be the people who will lead on departmental D&I goals, and they'll feed that back to you, the working group. We'll, of course, support them in terms of ensuring alignment. So it's a circle of learning and best practice. And there'll also be 2 DIAGs based on location, one for APAC and one for the US. In effect, it's about ensuring that there are groups that can focus on their specific needs. Finally, we'll need the decision makers and the resource givers. So that would be the Inclusion Council. It'll be a small group of execs and senior leaders who will need a high-level view of what we're doing, and they'll make decisions about how it fits with the bigger picture. Of course, all of this will be supported by the fabulous people experience team that is my wonderful colleagues and me. So here's a look at the 5 sections in the Inclusion Working Group Terms of Reference. Of course, the Terms of Reference outline the purpose of the group, as I explained before, which is to bring together a group of subject matter experts who collaborate to achieve specific deliverables. The group's responsibilities are to use their SME status to support the implementation and execution of EDI work and to develop action plans where that's needed. For what it's worth, that's a lot less daunting than it actually sounds, because I'm here to help, of course, and we're also members of a number of external groups that can guide us in terms of the plans that we create. The other responsibility of the group is to relieve ERG leaders of tasks that aren't actually in their remit. So that includes things like dealing with issues related to employee relations or to workplace adjustments. You'll also receive the terms of reference for the ERGs so you can better understand this point. Membership of the Inclusion Working Group is by invitation or recommendation, and we need people who can help in areas such as policy, technology, employee life cycle, including recruitment, retention, progression, monitoring, data, rewards, benefits, supply chain procurement, external engagement and delivery, workplace adjustments, built environment, communication, leadership, learning and development, customers and service users, networks and ERGs, and all of this will be based on the particular work stream. So everyone won't be working on the same thing at the same time. And not to fret, we will meet quarterly at a maximum as a full group, so not too frequently. And any other meetings that will inevitably be required will be organized on an ad hoc basis. So basically, we'll be minimizing the need for meetings as much as possible. Please note, there's no fixed term associated with being part of the group. In terms of resourcing the group, well, That'll be determined by the particular activity that we're engaged in or the particular issue that we're addressing. And if training is needed at any point, it will most certainly be provided. Of course, the question of what exactly are we dealing with must be on your minds. These are the work streams we'll be working on: accessibility, gender equality, LGBTQ+, social mobility, race or ethnicity, employee journey, and sustainability. Of course, we won't be doing everything this year because we're only just getting started. But in time, hopefully we'd have set up enough things, enough documents, enough policies, enough processes, so that we just have to draw on the knowledge bank that we create in order to look at future characteristics and activities. So for 2023, we'll be looking at doing a self-assessment within the Business Disability Forum's Disability Smart Framework. We'll achieve Disability Confident Level 2. We'll introduce 2 more pay gaps to our analysis, and we'll apply to the Stonewall Index again using the knowledge that ARC gained from the process in 2022. The interesting thing about focusing specifically on these 4 things is that we'll be setting up lots of things, lots of, documents and knowledge that will apply to the other work streams anyway. And now the homework. I'm just kidding. I'm genuinely just kidding. But I would like you to think about a few things before we meet. I'd like you to think about whether you've even had to consider any issues related to inclusion or accessibility in your work so far. It's not a problem if you haven't had to consider it at all. It's just worth thinking about it before we start this conversation. In the meanwhile, I'll send you the terms of reference for the working group. I'll send you the terms of reference for the ERGs, the outlines for the Disability Smart Framework, the Disability Confident requirements, and the Stonewall Index requirements. I'll share an agenda for the meeting closer to the time. Thank you so much for watching this, and I'm really looking forward to meeting with you soon. Bye-bye.